Let's continue our work on writing an article about a famous person. Open your books at page 15, exercise 4. Read the examples and find connectors in the article. Connectors may express addition. For example, Mirjan loves astronomy and has a telescope to observe the stars. Contrast. Dania would like a new laptop, but she doesn't have enough money. Cause or reason. Tom wants to go to the science fair because he is interested in physics. Despite getting high marks in English, Artyom wants to study math. It's contrast. And time. While Fran was walking to work, she was listening to music on her phone. Now let's look for examples in the text. While he worked there, he developed theories of special and general relativity. It was published in 1905, and he was soon offered important university position. In 1921, Einstein became world famous because he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics. In the last paragraph, there is a contrast. Despite changing the way we see the world, Albert Einstein was a very modest man. Now let's do exercise 5. You are to complete the sentence with a suitable connector. For example, Dana enjoys reading, but her brother prefers playing video games. You see, it's a contrast. Now finish this exercise in your copybooks. Now let's remember active and passive voice. Exercise 6. Read the examples. Active. The earthquake destroyed the town. Passive. The town was destroyed by the earthquake. What is the difference? You see, an active sentence emphasizes the person who does the action, while a passive sentence emphasizes the action. You also must remember that we use by plus agent to say who or what carries out the action. We use with instrument, material, ingredient to say what the agent used. Let's remember the rules. We form the passive with the verb to be in appropriate tense and the past participle of the main verb. We form the passive of the present simple as follows: is, am, are plus the past participle of the main verb. The object of the active sentence becomes the subject of the passive sentence. The verb changes from the active form into the passive form, the appropriate form of the verb to be, past participle of the main verb. The subject of the active voice becomes the agent in the passive sentence. We introduce the agent with by plus person or with plus object instrument.
People all over the world enjoy Middle Eastern cuisine. Middle Eastern cuisine is enjoyed by people all over the world.
A glass roof covers the mall. The mall is covered with a glass roof.
The passive is used when the agent person who does the action is unknown.
People are robbed frequently in this area of the city.
It is also used when the agent is obvious from the context. We do not need to mention it.
At the mall, shoplifting is seen as a serious crime. When shoplifters are caught, they are immediately taken to the police.
When the action is more important than the agent.
The popcorn at the cinema is very tasty because it is made with real butter.
It is also used to make more polite statements.
Please remember that no outside food is allowed in the cinema.
The agent is introduced with the preposition by.
The mall is visited by thousands of people every day.
The agent is not mentioned when the subject of the sentence in the active is one of the following: I, you, he, she, they, one, people, someone, etc.
They sell products from different countries at the market. Products from different countries are sold at the market.
The passive in past simple is formed with the verb to be in past simple, was, were, with the past participle of the main verb.
Yves Saint Laurent designed Kate Winslet's evening dress. Kate Winslet's evening dress was designed by Yves Saint Laurent.
Professional makeup covered the actress's face. The actress's face was covered with professional makeup.
Also, when the agent is unknown,
Morgan Freeman was awarded an Oscar for Million Dollar Baby in 2004.
when the agent is obvious from the context,
Christian Bale was given the lead role in The Dark Knight.
when the action is more important than the agent,
The film Avatar was released in 2009.
to make more polite statements.
We were informed that we could collect our tickets here.
The agent is introduced with the preposition by.
1 million people visited Warner Brothers Movie World last year. Warner Brothers Movie World was visited by 1 million people last year.
The agent is not mentioned when the subject of the sentence in the active is one of the following: I, you, he, she, they, one, people, someone, and etc. Now let's do exercise 7. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928. So, to invert, you will say penicillin was discovered by Alexander Fleming. Mr. Roberts teaches our class physics on Tuesday. You may say our class is taught by Mr. Roberts. You see, present simple. Leonardo da Vinci designed a helicopter in the 15th century. We may say that a helicopter was designed in the 15th century. We keep the laboratory door closed at all times. The laboratory door is kept closed at all times. Anna lost all her files when her laptop crashed. All Anna's files were lost. Write this sentence in your copybooks. In exercise 8, you are to read a paragraph about Thomas Alva Edison and rewrite it in the passive. Listen to the model.
Thomas Alva Edison is usually recognized by people as the inventor of the light bulb, but types of light bulb were developed by other inventors before Edison. The first electric light was invented by Humphrey Davy at the beginning of the 19th century, and a light bulb was demonstrated by Joseph Swan at one of his lectures in 1879, around the same time as Edison. A company was created by Edison and Swan in 1883. It was called Edison Swan United.
And now we have discussed famous scientists. Now you are to write an article about one of them. Include when and where he or she was born, his or her achievements, and when he or she died. Use the plan to write your article. Listen to the model.
Nikola Tesla. Have you heard of Nikola Tesla? Well, some people thought of him as a mad scientist, but he was actually one of the greatest inventors in history. Tesla was born in the Austrian Empire in 1856. As a child, he was very interested in physics and had a talent for engineering. Despite not graduating from university, he was an excellent student. After moving to the USA in 1884, Tesla worked as an electrical engineer for the Edison Company for a short time. He later started his own company and developed the AC electrical system and the Tesla coil, which are still used today. Throughout his career, Tesla discovered, designed, and developed ideas for a number of important inventions, including the AC dynamo and the induction motor. He was also a pioneer in the discovery of X-rays, remote control, and electric power transmission. Despite his early success, Tesla died poor in 1943. His value in science history was mostly forgotten until 1960, when an SI unit, which are used to measure magnetic fields, was named in his honor. Today, his work is recognized and his legacy lives on.
And now let's speak about the man who invented the net. Open your books at page 16, exercise 1. What do you know about the invention of the internet?
I know a man called Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web.
Now listen to the new words, repeat them, and write down them in your vocabularies.
Known as. Be known as.
Add. Browser.
Calculate.
Come up with something.
Commonly.
Creation.
Generation.
Go to. Initial.
Night.
Massive.
Picture.
Service.
Take something for granted.
Tend to.
Now let's watch the video, read the text, and fill in gaps while watching.
The man who invented the net. Nowadays, we take going online and searching the net for granted. It has replaced the library as the go-to source of information and is the place where we shop, do business, and communicate over social media. Yet we tend to forget that this is a fairly recent invention that appeared little more than a generation ago. It also seems strange that we have one man to thank for the net. That man is Tim Berners-Lee. Berners-Lee was born in London, England, on the 8th of June 1955. He studied physics at Oxford University and after graduation worked as an engineer and software writer. In 1980, he started working for the European Organization for Nuclear Research, more commonly known as CERN. It was at CERN that he first came up with hypertext, a system that would allow users in a company to share information. Later, he would develop this idea to allow users to share information over computer networks worldwide. It was this system that would eventually become famous as the World Wide Web, with the initials www. Berners-Lee went on to develop the first browser. And on the 6th of August, 1991, the first website went online. It is difficult to calculate, but there are now hundreds of millions of active websites, and more are being added daily. His work will go down in the history of science as one of the most important achievements of the 20th century.
Exercise 3. You are to fill in history, important, do, famous, source, study, media, known. Let's check, listen, and repeat.
A source of information. Do business. Social media. Study at university. Be known as. Become famous. Go down in history. An important achievement.
In exercise 4, let's answer the questions. Why the internet so popular? Listen to the opinion.
The internet is popular because it is the go-to source for information.
What do you use the internet for?
I use the internet for shopping and social media, as well as for looking up information to help me with my homework.
How will the internet change our lives in the future?
I think the internet will change our lives in the future in many ways. Firstly, everyone will be online all the time. We won't have to look for Wi-Fi hotspots or use broadband. I think some people will live online using virtual reality and disconnect from the real world. I also think it will be very difficult to keep any information private.
Exercise 5. Find information about an invention, development that came from your country. Write who invented, developed it, what it does, and how it is used. Write a paragraph about it.